You know, I think it's safe to say TikTok is entering the ban hammer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today, at some point, I believe, TikTok may be banned or will be about to go through the ban phase. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've witnessed the rise and fall of many social networks. A lot of them fall because they're irrelevant. This one fell because the US government was like, nope, get out of here. Now, let's be real here. The actual front for this is it offends national security. Now, I find this kind of hilarious because let's be fucking honest here. It's all about competition. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, we made a video on TikTok a while ago. We actually covered it. It's been a topic of hot discussion. Is TikTok safe to use? Is it spying on you? And the answer is probably it is. I won't deny it. Anytime you get a free application, guess what? It's not just free, it's free because you're the product, okay? They always harvest user data and then utilize it to figure out trends, and then not just use those trends, but figure out how to advertise to individuals better. That's exactly what most social media does, okay? It's not some dark, super sinister cyberpunk future. Really, every time services like Facebook or TikTok or YouTube or Google or Microsoft services, every time they give you a free service, they gather so much data on you that they find out how to target specific individuals, how to advertise to them, and how to maximize sales. That's kind of how it works, okay? It is what it is. Now, if you want to add spying to the mix, I guess there could be I guess, you know, even though most of the times there's never concrete proven evidence. Except that there is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I always show you something called Prism, because Prism is one of those programs that was leaked by a US NSA ex-contractor who's currently now in fugitive status. But the reality of it is this is the country that got exposed for not just spying on its own citizens, but also the world, okay? And now the US government likes to say, well, China bad. Now, don't get me wrong, China's bad for a lot of fucking reasons. And China is also bad because they definitely run some spying operations. Don't believe for a second that most Chinese companies who say, no, we'll never give your data to the Chinese government. Oh, they'll give your data. They'll give your data because the moment them Chinese government boys step into the office and say, we want your data, what are you going to do? You think they're going to fight them legally? You think they're going to fight the communist regime legally? Fuck no. They'll get their business shut down or flogged if they don't comply. So don't think for a second anytime you hear a Chinese company tell you, no, we won't give your data, they'll give your data over. 100% they'll give your data over. Now, you also shouldn't trust most American companies either, because I wouldn't deny that there are backdoor systems in place for most social media networks and most devices you buy in the States that allow federal agencies to at least get some idea of what users are doing. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's a weird world we live in. I said this a long time ago. If China spies on its citizens overtly, the United States spies on its citizens covertly. And that's just the reality, the grim reality of the situation. Now, TikTok getting banned, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of people who did some reverse checks on TikTok, and it did turn out to do some kind of shady actions. I mean, we even covered it in our last video where Apple's iOS had multiple privacy detecting features in place, and it constantly showed that TikTok was always digging through users' clipboards, which it never really should do. And I believe there are other situations where it's reading from microphones or checking cameras, which, don't get me wrong, elements like this exist in most applications that are social media out there. TikTok was just found to do it a little bit more aggressively than the average person. Now, this leads me to believe, you know, this is pretty much the cause of the recent antitrust situation that just happened. Okay, so this is the big antitrust. So this article right here from The Verge pretty much covers the antitrust hearing that we had to go through. This wasn't exactly the most exciting thing to go into, but it was one of the biggest antitrust things since Microsoft. So let's go through a couple key points. One of the first key points was Amazon, where they actually focused on the fact that Amazon would go into third-party sellers. One of the accusations, utilize information from those third-party sellers and then push their own products or counterfeit goods. Bezos said, I can't guarantee you that the policy's never been violated. We continue to look into that very carefully. I'm not yet satisfied that we got to the bottom of it, but we're gonna keep looking. Basically, the answer was maybe, maybe not. We'll try our best, but yeah, you can't really do anything. Goodbye. Facebook, which is probably one of the worst offenders, let's be honest, was actually assessed with why it bought Instagram. Was it to eliminate competition? And if you just scroll down over here, Zuckerberg pretty much says, I've been clear that Instagram was a competitor at the space of mobile photo sharing. There were a lot of others at the time, like ViscoCam and PicPlease, and companies like Path. It was a subset of the overall space of connecting that we exist in, and by having them join us, they certainly went from a competitor to being to basically being as big as they are. Let's be honest, they basically utilized the massive Facebook network and pretty much threw away the competition just by sheer size and brute force at that point. Now, Google, which actually, if you look over here, the company processes around 90% of all online searches in the US. The stranglehold on the market is the foundation of Google's massive advertising business, which generates almost all of the company's $160 billion in annual sales. Critics accuse Google of anti-competitive behavior with its ad business because the company owns all sides of the auction system. Now, they said this could give Google an unfair advantage, but let me just pitch you an idea. Let's say you made an awesome service. Google made the exact same service. But now, since they own 90% of all of search traffic, guess what? Whenever they Google for that service, whose service do you think is going to get pushed into the top of the engine? Yours or the one who owns the damn search engine? Figure it out. Data is oil, all right? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what you have to know going forward. And Microsoft, oh, bless their hearts, they're just sitting in the back doing nothing because, let's be honest here, Microsoft is number two. And number two means you rake in millions of dollars without any government oversight, or at least very little oversight. The reason I'm bringing this up is it kind of shows U.S. dominance in the world. I think for the first time, the government of the United States has finally realized, oh shit, people are using other avenues and other pieces of software. You know, as the world evolves and as other countries reach the level of the United States, their software is going to start matching up. The Chinese brought TikTok and it took the world by storm. All of a sudden, aside from Facebook, Twitter, and Microsoft services that were always, you know, having their hands in user data anyways, now you got a foreign entity in the US market also capitalizing on user data, which is something that I believe the government never really wanted. So they threw out the idea of national security, whatever the fuck that would really go out with, you know what I mean? And to an extent, I can understand it, and I can also understand that they did this because of years of saltiness regarding the Chinese. If you ever actually witnessed how Chinese internet works, you would know that the Chinese actively block pretty much most foreign tech companies from coming into their country. It's not just the United States. It could be any foreign country coming into their web space and harvesting data from their citizens. So the fact that we on our side ban TikTok is just a long reaction to what they have been doing to us for fucking years. Now, do I agree with a TikTok ban? Absolutely not. I believe if you're going to ban TikTok, then the government needs to provide conclusive evidence that TikTok was participating in spying on US citizens. If it can't produce the evidence, it has no reason to ban them. This reminds me of when the Huawei ban was taking place and when it was really pushed to the forefront. It wasn't necessarily because Huawei was caught spying on citizens. It was because Huawei ended up being the #1 smartphone manufacturer in the world at some point. And guess what? The United States couldn't handle hitting that second spot with Apple and most of their tech companies. So they had to really like break shit up. And that's kind of what I'm getting. The general vibe for me is coming over here. You know, in order to compete, you have to do some pretty underhanded shit to win. Now, they're trying to pass this idea of national security and spying, which to an extent it might be true, yes. But, like I said, can you produce the evidence? Because if the evidence can't be produced, then we're entering a really hazy situation of like some off-brand censorship. Listen, I get it. If you're a creator for TikTok, the rug was just pulled from underneath you. All right? This wasn't a case of this platform lost relevancy. This is a case of TikTok completely cutting off the U.S. market. This is a knee-jerk reaction from the government attacking TikTok, and I don't really necessarily agree with it. The only reason I could ever constitute a ban is if enough valid evidence was produced to prove that TikTok was in fact giving data to the Chinese. And unfortunately, you can never come with proper information regarding that. You can never really come to a true conclusion at some point, but The US government should have really backed it up with this. Now, this is an executive order that's actually kicking in, as far as I know. It's not like the US sat down and really discussed and brought this forward. It's kind of just like an executive order from the president. So I don't know if this is going to stick. I don't know if they're going to end up fighting this in court for a long time and probably end up overturning it. But even if they end up winning, just remember, they have lost one of their biggest hubs ever. They have lost one of their biggest sources of traffic out there. I doubt TikTok could survive if they end up I doubt TikTok could even survive, right? If they get banned like this. So what I'm kind of seeing is, in the next couple weeks, if TikTok decides that in some weird way, are they going to partner with a US company, and like Microsoft or Apple or Google are going to step in and buy a piece of TikTok and keep it alive? Is this some underhanded way to win over business? I don't know, dude. I don't fucking know. TikTok is banned, and it's completely, it's not banned yet. It might be when this video is up. This is just new development kicking in. And I've covered videos regarding TikTok. I may not like the app, but my stance on banning is, of course, if the evidence is solid enough, then yeah, sure. But to me, this almost seems like an underhanded way at winning in the world, and and that's really what I think it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the TikTok surprise ban. All right, shit, I kind of feel really bad for a lot of TikTokers out there, but who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if Vine comes back? Who knows? But ladies and gentlemen, this is TikTok, and it is on its way fucking out. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am